The Knight Rider cars only cost $1 each, but there was a strange rule: every car had to be destroyed after the show ended. No one knew why except Hasselhoff. At the same time, he was fighting personal demons. His addiction started during those years. It got so bad that his own daughter later filmed him drunk on the floor. The show looked perfect on TV, but behind the scenes it was falling apart. For 40 years, Hasselhoff kept the truth to himself. Now he's finally sharing the full sad story. David Hasselhoff was born on July 17, 1952 in Baltimore, Maryland. His family was Roman Catholic, strict but loving. His dad, Joseph, worked as a business executive. His mom, Dolores, stayed home to raise the kids. David was the only boy among 4 sisters. His family roots were German. His great-great-grandmother came from a town near Bremen in 1865. That German background didn't mean much to him as a kid, but later it would help turn him into a hero overseas. His childhood was anything but steady. The family moved a lot because of his dad's job with Brinks Security. They lived in Baltimore, then Jacksonville, Florida, then Atlanta, then Illinois. David never stayed in one place long enough to settle in. He was shy, always the new kid, always adjusting. But each time he started over, he got better at talking to people. He learned how to fit in, how to perform. That's probably what made him want to be an actor. On stage, he could finally be someone who didn't have to move. That moment came when he was just 7 years old. He was cast in a local production of Peter Pan, playing one of Captain Hook's crew. The shy boy came alive on stage. He wasn't nervous. He felt free. That one role changed everything. He fell in love with theater. From then on, he took lessons in acting, singing, and dancing. He told everyone his one dream was to be on Broadway. And decades later, he did return to Peter Pan. This time as Captain Hook himself, in theaters across the UK from 2010 to 2017. When the family finally settled in LaGrange, Illinois, David was a teenager. He went to Lyons Township High School and jumped into everything. He wasn't just a student. He led the choir, captained the volleyball team, joined the speech team, starred in plays, and played the lead in The Fantastics. By the time he graduated in 1970, he had the tools most actors spend years learning: confidence, charm, physical skill, and stage presence. After high school, he started at Oakland University in Michigan, but soon he transferred to the California Institute of the Arts, or CalArts, a school founded by Walt Disney in 1961. That move brought him to California, exactly where he needed to be. At CalArts, he learned how to control his voice, take charge on stage, and move between singing, acting, and dancing. Within 2 years of graduating, he got his first big break. That break came in a surprising way. In 1974, desperate to get his Screen Actors Guild card, he took a part in a low-budget movie called Revenge of the Cheerleaders. His character's name, Boner. He figured nobody would ever see it. But 2 years later, the movie was released under a different title, Caught with Their Pants Down. It was embarrassing, but it earned him his SAG card. He was officially a working actor. Then came the soap opera. In 1975, he landed the role of Dr. William Snapper, Foster Jr. on The Young and the Restless. He stayed on the show for 6 years and filmed over 850 episodes. His character was serious and dependable, the rock of the family. Fans loved him. And when he chose to leave in 1982, the show's creator didn't just write him out, they phased out the whole Foster family. That's how important he had become. The real game changer came later that year. NBC president Brandon Tartikoff personally chose him to star in Knight Rider. Tartikoff saw something others didn't, a mix of kindness and strength. The show paired David with a talking car named KITT and became a global hit. It wasn't just about action, it was about saving lives, not taking them. That clean-cut, high-tech hero image stuck. It made David a star in the US, and soon after, a legend in Germany. But before Knight Rider, there was a weird detour. In 1979, he starred in Star Crash, a low-budget Italian sci-fi film trying to ride the success of Star Wars. David played a prince in glowing armor who delivered lines like, "3 minutes are enough, father." It was silly, but he gave it his all. The movie bombed, but it proved he was willing to take risks. David Hasselhoff wasn't just acting in Knight Rider. He was living it. But before he ever sat behind KITT's wheel, one man had a wild idea. Glenn A. Larson wanted to mix a cowboy story with a high-tech car. He said Michael Knight was like the Lone Ranger, only with a talking Trans Am instead of a horse. NBC loved the idea. Their president had said there weren't enough good male leads, so Larson asked what if the car is the star. The show premiered on September 26, 1982, and ran until April 4, 1986. It was backed by FLAG, the Foundation for Law and Government, a fake agency that sent Knight on secret missions. Larson had already made hits like Magnum P.I. and Battlestar Galactica, but Knight Rider became one of his biggest successes. The timing was perfect. Car-loving 1980s viewers couldn't get enough behind the scenes. Building KITT wasn't easy. Pontiac's 1982 Trans Ams were hard to get. At first the team only had one. Designer Michael Sheff turned it into the first KITT, then they got lucky. A train crash destroyed a shipment of new Trans Ams. GM couldn't sell them, so they gave the show 10 cars for just $1 each. The catch? Every single one had to be destroyed after filming. Fans still call that decision sacrilege. Each KITT was built for a different job. Some were made just for stunts, and had fiberglass bodies. Some had hidden drivers inside. The hero car was used only for close-ups and scenes with Hasselhoff. Each one cost around $18,000 to modify. By season 3, KITT got an upgrade. Spoilers, wings and a hood scoop to stand out from all the fan-made copies. On screen, KITT was a wonder, bulletproof, explosion-proof, and able to survive 800-degree heat. It could jump 40 feet and go from 0 to 60 in just 0.2 seconds. The red light on the hood, called the anamorphic equalizer, was its eye, inspired by HAL from 2001, A Space Odyssey. It could see through walls, check Michael's health, and even go silent for stealth. Years later, real car tech caught up, like Ford's heart monitoring seats and collision sensors in trucks. But back then, it felt like sci-fi. KITT was said to be worth $11.4 million. In reality, each car cost closer to $100,000 to build. But fans didn't care. Kids wanted the toys. Teens wanted the car. Parents watched with them. Critics didn't love it. TV Guide gave it 21%, and Rotten Tomatoes just 35%. But audiences made it a hit. By 1983, KITT toys were the top Christmas gift. Knight Rider became a pop culture earthquake. The show ended in 1986, but the legend didn't. It aired worldwide in reruns and was adored. NBC tried to reboot it in 2008, but it flopped. They missed what made the original special, and nobody felt that more than Hasselhoff. To him, Knight Rider wasn't just a job. He once said he'd spend the rest of his life in that show if he could. Fans often told him, "You helped me through a tough time." That meant more than the fame he got from Baywatch. Because Knight Rider, he said, was about hope. He called it the role he was proudest of. Hasselhoff looked like the perfect action hero on screen. But behind the wheel, the truth was messy. The show used 4 types of KITT. There was the hero car with full lights and buttons, stunt cars, stripped down for wild moves, jump cars with light fiberglass bodies, and crash shells made just to be wrecked. To make KITT drive on its own, stuntman Jack Gill lay hidden in the footwell steering from his back. Pontiac gave just 3 Trans Ams at first. That changed after the 1983 train crash. GM sold 10 for $1 each, but they all had to be destroyed later by Wrecking Ball. The stunts were real and dangerous. In one huge jump, KITT flew 85 feet across a canyon. The license plate flew off, a camera broke loose, and even Hasselhoff's jacket flew away. That one shot got reused 5 times. The cars didn't survive, and neither did some of the gear. Gilles broke his back twice, his neck once. Today he walks with a titanium plate and 6 screws in his neck. Gilles trained Hasselhoff himself, tight turns, spin-outs, fishtails. Within weeks, David was driving like a pro. He couldn't do the big jumps, but he did most other stunts. Still, there were arguments over who got to drive the hero car. Gilles had rigged controls inside, but when Hasselhoff jumped in, they'd fight. "I've got the wheel." David would yell. "No, I'm driving, you hack." Gilles would shout from inside. He joked that from his hidden spot he could punch Hasselhoff anytime. That wasn't the only feud. Hasselhoff also clashed with William Daniels, the voice of KITT, but they never met while filming. Daniels recorded his lines later in a studio. Still, fans started liking KITT more than Michael. Hasselhoff noticed. He pushed for more lines and rewrote scripts through his contract. Daniels began protecting KITT's personality like it was real. They finally met at a holiday party awkwardly. Off-camera, Hasselhoff struggled. Drinking began to affect work. Filming stopped at least 7 times in season 3 due to exhaustion, a code word for hangovers. During the 1984 episode Goliath Returns, the crew worked around his slow starts. Years later, his ex-wife said he was already drinking heavily back then. In 2007, his daughter filmed him drunk, shirtless, slurring, eating a burger on the floor. The man who once said one man can make a difference couldn't even eat lunch. In 1983, a 15-year-old leukemia patient named Randy visited the set. After Randy died, Hasselhoff got a letter from his parents. It hit him hard. He began to feel like playing Michael Knight wasn't just acting, it was a mission. He pushed for more meaningful stories, less about explosions, more about values. But the weight of being a real-life hero crushed him. He later said it almost killed him. "It took God's angels," he said, "to bring me back." When Knight Rider ended in 1986, Hasselhoff hit a wall, not physically but professionally. Everyone saw him as Michael Knight. Hollywood didn't want him in anything else. He tried movies, they flopped. From 1986 to 1989, his US career stalled. People laughed when he talked about serious roles. Even Hasselhoff joked later that he was better known for talking to a car than acting. So he looked to a place most American stars ignored, Germany. And there he struck gold. In 1988, he released a song called Looking for Freedom. It was an English version of a German song, and its hopeful message connected with people. East and West Germany were still divided, and people wanted hope. The song blew up. It stayed #1 for 8 weeks in West Germany, and stayed on the charts for 25 weeks. It sold over 500,000 copies and went platinum. By 1989, Hasselhoff wasn't just a star in Germany. He was a symbol of hope. That same year, he performed on top of the Berlin Wall on New Year's Eve in front of 500,000 people. He wore a flashing leather jacket and scarf, dodged fireworks, and sang his freedom anthem like it was a battle cry. But back in the United States, he was still slipping. That's when Baywatch came along. The show first aired in 1989, and it failed. Badly. It ranked 73rd out of 103 shows. NBC canceled it, and the production company folded. Most actors would have walked away. Not Hasselhoff. In 1991, he took a huge gamble. He put up his own money, joined the show's creators, and bought the rights. He wasn't just the lead actor anymore, he was executive producer. He also made sure to get a cut of future profits. That deal made him rich, and it worked better than anyone could have guessed. By 1996, Baywatch was being watched by more than 1.1 billion people every week. That was 1 out of every 5 humans on Earth. It aired in 148 countries, translated into 44 languages, and made over $1 billion in syndication. And surprisingly, 65% of the viewers were women. Many were drawn to the action, romance, and strong female characters. Hasselhoff's character, Mitch Buchanan, became a global icon. The red trunks, the rescue can, the slow-motion running, all of it became pop culture history. From 1989 to 2001, Hasselhoff appeared in 220 episodes. When he left before the final season, they didn't kill him off, they just made his character vanish in an underwater explosion. That way he could come back. And he did in 2003, for Baywatch, Hawaiian Wedding, playing a Mitch with amnesia. Even when he tried to poke fun at the role later, he couldn't escape the red shorts. But while fans were watching him save lives on TV, he was building a real business behind the scenes. He was earning $100,000 per episode at the show's peak. But the real money came from royalties. Long after Baywatch ended, he was still earning $4 million a year. He expanded the brand into movies and a spin-off show, Baywatch Nights. It started as a detective series, but later turned into a paranormal mystery show, trying to copy the success of The X-Files. Even after divorce battles cut his fortune from $100 million to $10 million, Baywatch kept making money. In 2018, it was remastered in HD, creating new income again. The show refused to die. Meanwhile in Europe, Hasselhoff was still a music star. Between the 80s and late 90s, he released 15 studio albums and 12 compilation albums. He toured constantly, appearing on German TV, performing in arenas, and flying back and forth to balance both his lives. In 1990 alone, he toured across Germany and Switzerland, while still filming Baywatch and managing production. In 1995, he released 4 compilation albums. His schedule was insane, but it kept his fame alive on both sides of the Atlantic. TV legend in the US, pop idol in Europe. But then came the crash. In early 2002, Hasselhoff nearly drank himself to death. His body was shutting down. He checked into the Betty Ford Center. In 2011, he revealed something shocking. His blood alcohol level was the highest ever seen at the clinic. Doctors said he should have been dead. He wasn't doing it for attention. He said he wasn't playing the Hollywood rehab game. He went because he had no choice. His health was collapsing. But this wasn't the first time. Back in 2001, he had already tried to quit. He checked into rehab, stayed 8 days, then called a taxi and escaped. He didn't go home. He went drinking. That night ended in the hospital. It was his first real warning. He went back to rehab after that and admitted he had a problem. But addiction isn't that easy to beat. Then came May 3, 2007. His daughter Taylor Ann recorded a video that shocked the world. Hasselhoff was drunk, lying shirtless on the floor of a hotel room, barely able to eat a cheeseburger. You could hear her voice. "You promised me you wouldn't drink tonight," she said. She wasn't angry, she was heartbroken. She later said she filmed it so he could see what he was like, because he never remembered. That video went viral. Over 1 billion people saw it. For many, it was the first time they realized how far he had fallen. That same year, things got worse. In July 2006, during his messy divorce from Pamela Bach, Hasselhoff caused a scene at Heathrow Airport. He was supposed to fly to LA, but didn't make it. Witnesses said he smelled like alcohol and couldn't walk straight. The airline wouldn't let him board. His publicist blamed antibiotics, but the damage was done. That same day, his divorce was finalized in Los Angeles. Then came more headlines. In August 2006, private court documents were leaked. They included claims of cocaine, cheating, and abuse. It all played out like a tabloid soap opera. The divorce turned into a fight over custody. At first, each parent got one daughter, Taylor with Hasselhoff, Haley with Bach. But that changed. Pamela Bach filed for a restraining order claiming Hasselhoff had been violent. The court denied it but told them to stay away from each other. Later, Hasselhoff got full custody of both daughters. Years later, he used that to lower his alimony payments from $21,000 to $10,000 per month. Despite all this, something shifted by 2010. Hasselhoff stopped hiding from his past. He even laughed about it. During his Comedy Central roast, he joked about the burger video. He called it therapy. He said it took God's angels to bring him to the edge of death to make him stop. And it worked. He began to heal. He also tried to rebuild his love life. His first marriage to Catherine Hickland lasted from 1984 to 1989. Their wedding was even recreated in a Knight Rider episode. Months after that divorce, he met Pamela Bach. She'd been in an episode of Knight Rider, but nothing happened then. They reconnected later at a nightclub and married in 1989. They had 2 daughters, but after 16 years the marriage ended in chaos. After that, Hasselhoff stayed single for a while. But in 2011, he started dating Haley Roberts, a Welsh shop assistant he met while filming Britain's Got Talent. They dated for 7 years. And married in 2018 in Italy. They honeymooned in the Maldives. Then tragedy struck. On March 5, 2025, Pamela Bach was found dead at 62. Police confirmed it was suicide. Her family hadn't heard from her, so they called for help. Hasselhoff released a short statement asking for privacy. The two had gone through a toxic split, but her death reopened old wounds. Their daughters, now in their 30s, were left to grieve. Back in 2021, Hasselhoff said something that changed how fans saw Knight Rider. For almost 40 years, people thought it was just about a talking car. But to him, it was always about something deeper. "It's not about the car," he said. "It's about the relationship. And it's about action. And that one man can make a difference." That line flipped everything. The tech turbo boost, auto drive, was just a bonus. The real story was the bond between Michael and KITT. When he spoke with Kelly Clarkson in 2021, he said today's cars already do what KITT did. To him, the magic wasn't in the tech. It was in the connection. He also admitted something unexpected. The acting wasn't the main part for him. It was the driving. "I got really good at driving," he said. "Reverse 180s. I could teach you that in 5 minutes." Back then, there was no CGI. Every stunt was real. Dangerous. They'd yell, "Action, Knight Rider!" and he'd hit the gas. Woohoo, he'd shout. You got paid for that. Can you believe it? Since 2013, Hasselhoff has been trying to reboot Knight Rider. He had the rights for nearly a decade, but nothing happened. I couldn't get a bite, he said. Eventually, writer TJ Fixman joined the project, and directors like James Wan and James Gunn got involved. Gunn even tweeted about wanting to help, but it never came together. As of May 2025, the reboot is still stuck. Hasselhoff is still hoping. But he made one thing clear. If it comes back, it needs more than fast cars. It needs heart, it needs friendship, and it needs to prove that one man and one machine can still make a difference.